Cold metal pressed against Yuna's face as consciousness returned. Her head pounded like someone had used it as a drum. She tried to move her arms, but they were locked behind her back with something that burned against her skin. The air smelled wrong. Too clean, too sharp, like chemicals and ozone mixed together. She opened her eyes slowly. The room was white, pure white. Everything gleamed under lights that were too bright and the wrong color. Purplish. Her stomach turned. 3 figures stood in front of her. They were not human. The one in the middle looked like a giant insect that had learned to walk on 2 legs. Its body was covered in black armor plates that clicked when it moved. 4 eyes, each the size of a fist, stared at her without blinking. When it breathed, the sound was like wind through a tunnel. To its left stood something that might have been beautiful if it was not so alien. Tall and thin, with skin that shifted colors like oil on water. No mouth that Yuna could see. Just smooth skin where a mouth should be. The third one was the worst. It was short and wide, covered in gray skin that looked wet. Dozens of small tentacles grew from its head like hair. They never stopped moving, never stopped reaching toward her. The human is awake, the insect thing said. Its voice came from somewhere in its chest, deep and buzzing. Fascinating. Such a fragile species. No armor, no claws, no poison, no mental powers. How did you ever survive on your world? Yuna said nothing. Her training kicked in. Assess the situation. Count the exits. Look for weapons. Plan escape routes. There were no exits she could see. No weapons. The room was empty except for the chair she was strapped to and her 3 captors. I am Commander Vexthal of the Krelthex Syndicate, the insect continued. You and your crew entered our territory. That was a mistake. My crew, Yuna said. Her voice was rough. Where are they? The tentacle creature made a sound like wet laughter. Dead, all dead. Humans are so easy to kill. Pop, 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 like little bubbles. Something cold settled in Yuna's chest. She had served with those people for 3 years. They had been her friends, her family. You, however, are special, Vexthal said. He moved closer. She could smell him now, like rust and old meat. You are a female. Your species has 2 types, yes? We studied your ship's database before we destroyed it. Humans are very interesting. You come from a world covered in water, so much water, and your planet tries to kill you in so many ways, weather, animals, plants, diseases. Everything on your Earth wants you dead, yet you survived. You built cities, ships, you came to the stars. How? We're stubborn, Yuna said. The color-changing alien made a sound. A laugh, maybe. Stubborn, yes, we shall see how stubborn you are. Vexthal tapped something on his arm. A screen appeared in the air, floating like a ghost. Images flickered across it. Creatures. Horrible creatures from nightmares. Things with too many teeth. Things with claws like swords. Things that looked like they were made of shadow and hunger. We collect specimens from across the galaxy, Vexthal explained. Apex predators. The most dangerous creatures from 100 worlds. We keep them in an arena. The gauntlet, we call it. Sometimes for entertainment we put criminals inside. The criminals never survive long. Minutes, hours at most. You're going to feed me to monsters, Yuna said. Not a question. Feed? No. You will be given a chance to survive. That is the fun of it. The hope, the struggle. Other species pay well to watch. It is quite profitable. Vexthal's mandibles clicked together. Besides, we are curious. You humans talk so much about being warriors, about honor, about never surrendering. We want to see if your species can do more than talk. The restraints released. Yuna fell forward, catching herself on her hands. Her muscles screamed. How long had she been unconscious? 6 guards entered the room. They were different species, all armed with weapons that hummed with energy. They surrounded her. Take her to the holding cells, Vexthal ordered. Tomorrow she enters the gauntlet. Tonight let her think about what awaits her. Let her fear. The guards grabbed her arms and dragged her from the room. They moved through corridors that all looked the same. White walls, purple lights, doors that opened without sound. She tried to memorize the path, but there were too many turns, too many levels. They threw her into a cell. The door sealed behind her with a hiss. The cell was small. A metal bench along one wall. A hole in the corner that she assumed was a toilet. Nothing else. Yuna sat on the bench and put her head in her hands. Her crew was dead. She was alone on an alien ship, light years from any help. Tomorrow they would throw her into an arena with monsters. She should have been afraid. Should have been crying, should have been looking for a way to die quickly, before the beasts could tear her apart. Instead, she felt something else, something cold and sharp. Anger. Pure, clean anger. A voice came through the wall. Quiet. Scared. "Hello? Is someone there?" Yuna looked up. "Yes, who are you?" "My name is Do-hyun. I'm human. From the colony on Kepler 442b. They captured me 3 months ago. I've been in the gauntlet for, I don't know anymore. I've lost count. 3 months?" Yuna moved to the wall. "How are you still alive?" "I hide, I run. I eat what I can find. The arena is big. Lots of places to hide. But I'm so tired. So tired of running, of hiding, of being afraid every second. How many other humans are here? 12, maybe 13 now with you. We're all prisoners, all scheduled for the gauntlet eventually. None of the others have lasted more than a day inside. I'm the only one. I don't know why. I'm not strong. Not brave. I don't want to die." Yuna pressed her palm against the wall. "Listen to me, Do-hyun. I'm Captain Yuna, Human Space Fleet Special Forces. I've trained my whole life for situations like this. When I enter that arena tomorrow, I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to run, and I'm not going to die." "That's what the others said," Do-hyun whispered. "They all died. I'm not them," Yuna said. "And if you're smart, you'll stick close to me when I find you. Because I'm going to survive this. Then I'm going to get us all out. Then I'm going to make these things pay for what they've done." Silence from the other side of the wall. Then so quiet she almost missed it. "Okay, I believe you." Yuna lay back on the metal bench. It was cold and uncomfortable, but she had slept in worse places. She closed her eyes and began to plan. The aliens had made a mistake. They thought humans were weak because they had no claws or armor. They thought Earth was just a wet planet that got lucky. They did not understand. Earth was not a lucky planet. It was a nightmare world that had tried to kill humanity for millions of years, and humanity had not just survived. They had won. They had become the apex predator of a planet full of apex predators. Tomorrow the aliens would learn what that meant. Tomorrow they would learn why you never cage a human. The guards came at dawn, or what passed for dawn on an alien ship where there was no sun. They did not speak to her. They simply opened the cell door and pointed their weapons. Yuna walked out calmly. She had spent the night resting and planning. Fear was useless. Fear made you slow. They marched her through more white corridors until they reached a massive door. It was old, scarred with claw marks and burns. Something had tried very hard to get through it from the other side. Vextal waited there with a crowd of other aliens. They looked excited. "Entertainment day. Any last words, human?" the commander asked. Yuna looked at him steadily. "See you soon." His mandibles clicked in what might have been confusion. Then the door opened. They shoved her through. The door slammed shut behind her so fast she felt the wind of it. For a moment there was only darkness and the sound of her own breathing. Then light came. Not from above, but from the walls. They glowed with a soft green light that reminded her of deep ocean water. As her eyes adjusted, Yuna saw where she was. The arena was huge, maybe the size of 10 football fields. The floor was dirt and rock and sand all mixed together. Strange plants grew in patches, nothing like earth plants. These had purple leaves and thorns as long as her hand. In the distance she could see water. A river maybe, or a lake, and beyond that hills and caves and places where shadows gathered thick. A roar echoed across the arena. Deep, hungry. Something big was awake. "Captain? Captain Yuna?" The voice came from behind a nearby rock formation. Do-hyun. He looked terrible, thin, dirty. His clothes were rags, but his eyes were sharp and alert. "That's me," Yuna said. "Show me around." Do-hyun laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Around, this is hell. But okay, come on. We need to move before the Gormak picks up your scent." "The what?" "You'll know it when you see it." They moved quickly through the rocks. Yuna noticed that Do-hyun barely made a sound when he walked. He had learned. She filed that away. Skills she could use. "The arena is an ecosystem," Do-hyun explained as they moved. "The aliens built it to be self-sustaining. Plants grow. Water flows. The creatures hunt and kill and eat. Sometimes they eat each other. Sometimes they eat prisoners. There's no pattern I can figure out. How many creatures? Big ones? 3 types that I know of. The Gormak is the worst. Imagine a bear and a rhino and a dragon all mixed together. 12 feet tall. Covered in armor plates. Its blood is acid. If you cut it, the blood burns you. I saw it kill a prisoner in seconds. Just stomped him flat. What else? Shriek stalkers. They hunt in packs. Maybe 6 of them. They look like wolves, but bigger and with too many teeth. And they can scream. When they do, it feels like your head is going to explode. They use it to stun prey. And the third? Do-hyun shivered. The void worm. It's a snake thing. 30 feet long, maybe more. It can phase through solid matter. Walls, rocks, your body. You can't hide from it because walls mean nothing. I've only seen it once. I ran and didn't stop for hours. They reached a small cave. Inside, Do-hyun had made a home of sorts. A pile of strange leaves for bedding, bones arranged as tools, a small collection of rocks shaped into crude weapons. This is where I hide, he said. It's defensible. Only one entrance. And the smell keeps most things away. The smell was bad. Rotting plants mixed with something musky and wrong. What is that? Droppings from one of the herbivores. The predators avoid it. I spread it around the entrance every day. Smart, Yuna said. But hiding only works for so long. We need to go on offense. Offense? Against those things? Are you insane? Yuna picked up one of the bone knives. You said you've been here 3 months. That means there's food, water, materials. The aliens want a show. They want to see us run and scream. We're not going to give them that. We're going to hunt. Hunt? Do-hyun stared at her. You want to hunt the monsters? No, I want to kill them. One by one. We're going to take this arena apart piece by piece until there's nothing left but us. And then we're going to find a way out. Before Do-hyun could respond, a sound split the air. Not a roar, a shriek. High-pitched and painful. Yuna felt it in her teeth, in her bones. Shriek stalkers, Do-hyun whispered. They found us. Yuna looked out of the cave entrance. 6 shapes moved between the rocks. They were each the size of a large dog, but built wrong. Too many joints in the legs. Heads that were all mouth and teeth. Their skin was mottled gray and red, and they were circling the cave. They're pack hunters, Do-hyun said. They'll wait until we have to come out. For water, for food, then they attack. No, Yuna said. They attack now. Because we're going out there. That's suicide. That's hunting. Yuna tested the bone knife in her hand. Not great, but it would work. On Earth, humans hunted in packs too. We tracked animals for days. Ran them down. Exhausted them. We didn't have claws or teeth like theirs. We had something better. Endurance, strategy, and this. She picked up a rock, baseball-sized, smooth and heavy. She hefted it, testing the weight. Humans can throw, she said. Better than any other species on Earth. Better than any species in the galaxy, probably. Our shoulders evolved for it. Watch. She stepped to the cave entrance. One of the shriek stalkers was closer than the others. Maybe 20 feet away. It saw her and opened its mouth to scream. Yuna threw the rock. Hard. Fast. With all the strength and accuracy of thousands of hours of training. The rock hit the creature in its open mouth. Teeth shattered. The shriek became a gurgle. The creature fell back, choking. The other 5 turned. Yuna stepped out of the cave. Come on, she shouted at them. Let's see what you've got. They charged, all at once. A wave of teeth and claws and hunger. Do-hyun screamed her name. Yuna did not run. She moved to the side, smooth and fast. The first stalker passed where she had been standing. She brought the bone knife down hard into its neck as it passed. Blood sprayed. The creature crashed into the rocks. 2 more came from different angles. Pack tactics. But Yuna had trained against multiple opponents her whole life. She ducked under one, kicked the legs out from the other, used their momentum against them. The bone knife broke in the 3rd stalker's skull. No matter, she had rocks. She had her fists. She had her teeth if it came to that. One stalker bit her arm. Pain shot through her, but she did not scream. Instead, she grabbed its head with her other hand and twisted. Hard. The neck snapped with a wet crack. The alpha stalker hung back, watching. It was smarter than the others. It could see that something was wrong. Prey did not fight like this. Prey ran, Prey screamed. Prey died. Yuna picked up another rock. Her arm bled, but the wound was not deep. The adrenaline would carry her through. Your turn, she said to the alpha. It shrieked. The sound was meant to stun her, to freeze her in place. But Yuna had been flashbanged before. Had trained through pain. She gritted her teeth and threw. The rock hit the alpha in its eye. It reeled back and Yuna was on it. She had no weapons now. Just her hands. Just her human hands that could grip and tear and break. When it was over, she stood among the bodies. 6 shriek stalkers, all dead. Her arm bled. Her knuckles were torn. But she was alive. Do-hyun emerged from the cave slowly like he was in a dream. He stared at the bodies, at Yuna, at the blood on her hands. "What are you?" he whispered. "Human," Yuna said. She was breathing hard now, the adrenaline fading. "Just human. And these things just learned something important. On Earth, humans are not prey. We're predators. The best ones. We've been hunting since before we had fire. This," she gestured at the dead stalkers, "this is what we do." High above, in the observation deck, the aliens watched in silence. Some had recording devices. Some had started to back away from the viewing screens. Bexthal stared at the blood-covered human below. At the bodies around her. At the way she stood tall and unafraid. "Bring up her species file," he ordered. "I want to know everything about humans now." But deep down he was starting to understand. They had not captured prey. They had caged a predator. And now it was loose in their arena. 3 days passed in the arena. 3 days that changed everything. Do-hyun had forgotten what it was like to not be afraid every moment. For 3 months, fear had been his constant companion. He ate fear, breathed fear, slept with fear wrapped around his throat. But now, watching Yuna work, he felt something different. Hope. "Fire," she said on the second day. "We need fire." "Fire? How?" "There's nothing to make fire with." Yuna held up 2 rocks. She had spent an hour searching for the right kind. Flint or something like it. And this dried plant fiber, watch. She struck the rocks together once, twice, 3 times. Sparks flew. The plant fiber caught. A tiny flame grew. Do-hyun stared at it like it was magic. "Humans discovered fire 500,000 years ago," Yuna said, feeding the flame carefully. "Fire gave us warmth, light, cooked food, safety. Fire kept the predators away at night. Most species in the galaxy fear fire. It's chaos, uncontrolled, dangerous. But we learned to control it. To use it, the fire grew. They fed it with more dried plants and wood from the strange trees. Smoke rose up toward the dome ceiling far above. In the observation deck, alarms went off. "The human has created fire," someone shouted. "How is that possible?" "Fire is a controlled substance. Only advanced species can create fire." Bexthal watched the smoke rise. His database showed him the truth. Humans had been making fire since before they left the caves, before they had written language, before they had agriculture. Fire was written into their DNA. What else can they do? He wondered aloud. Below, Yuna smiled at the fire. "Now we cook." She had been hunting. Not hiding, not running. Hunting. There were smaller creatures in the arena. Things that looked like rabbits but with scales instead of fur. Things that moved in herds. Prey animals from some distant world. She had killed 2 with thrown rocks. Her accuracy was perfect. Evolution had given humans the best throwing ability in the known galaxy. Baseball pitchers could throw a ball at 100 miles per hour with pinpoint accuracy. That same ability worked just as well with rocks, the meat cooked over the fire. The smell made Do-hyun's stomach growl. He had been eating raw meat and plants for months. The concept of cooked food seemed like a dream. "Cooking does more than make food taste better," Yuna explained. "It kills parasites, breaks down toxins, makes nutrients easier to absorb. Humans can eat things that would kill other species because we cook our food. Our stomachs are tough, but fire makes them tougher." They ate. Real food, warm food. For the first time in months, Do-hyun felt full. That night they slept by the fire. Yuna set up a perimeter of sharpened stakes around their camp. Simple defenses, but effective. She had also created a tally mark system on the cave wall. 6 marks for the shriek stalkers. More marks would come. "Tell me about yourself," Yuna said as they sat by the fire. "How did you end up here?" Do-hyun stared into the flames. "I was a farmer. On Kepler 442b, we grew food for the colony. It was peaceful, simple, then raiders came. The Kralthek Syndicate. They took everyone they could catch. Killed the rest. I was unlucky. They kept me alive. And the others? The other humans? Scattered throughout the prison complex. I only know about them because Hyejin told me. She's a medic. They make her work in the infirmary. She's not supposed to talk to prisoners, but she does. Whispers information when the guards aren't looking. There's also a man named Taeyang. He's an engineer. They have him maintaining the ship's systems. And others. All prisoners. All waiting to die in this arena or some other way. Yuna poked the fire with a stick. We're going to get them out. How? We're trapped in here. Even if we survive, we can't escape. Not yet, but we will. First, I need to send a message. Show them that humans are not what they think we are. Make them afraid. When they're afraid, they'll make mistakes. On the third day, the Gormak came. Do-hyun saw it first. A shape moving between the distant hills. Massive, armored. Death on 4 legs. Yuna, he whispered. It's coming, Yuna stood. She had been waiting for this. The Gormak was the arena's apex predator. The biggest, the strongest, the hardest to kill. Defeating it would send a message. Get to high ground, she told Do-hyun. Watch and learn. The Gormak was everything Do-hyun had described and worse. 12 feet at the shoulder. Covered in thick armor plates that overlapped like scales. 6 eyes all focused forward. A mouth full of teeth like daggers. When it walked, the ground shook. It saw Yuna and charged. Not cautious. Not testing. Just pure aggression. This was its territory. She was food, Yuna ran. Not away, parallel to the charge. The Gormak was fast but not agile. It could not turn quickly. She led it into the rocks where its size was a disadvantage. The creature crashed through the rocks, smashing them to pieces. But the effort cost energy. Heat built up in its massive body. Yuna kept running. Hours passed. The sun lamps in the dome ceiling moved across their artificial sky. The Gormak chased her, never stopping, never slowing, but Yuna had something it did not. Sweat glands. Humans were the best endurance runners on Earth. They could run for hours in the heat because they could sweat. They could cool their bodies while moving. Most animals had to stop and pant to cool down, but humans just kept running. The Gormak began to slow. Its breathing was labored. Foam dripped from its mouth. It was overheating. Its armor, designed to protect it, now trapped heat inside like an oven. Yuna led it to the lake. The creature followed, desperate now for water. It waded in, drinking deep, cooling its massive body. Yuna climbed a rock face above the lake. She had prepared this spot earlier. Loose rocks. Unstable ground. She began pushing rocks down. Not at the creature. At the cliff face itself. The rocks started an avalanche. Tons of stone crashed down into the water. The Gormak looked up too late. The avalanche hit it. Drove it under the water. Pinned it beneath stones. It thrashed, fought, but it was exhausted and trapped. Its struggles grew weaker. Finally they stopped. Yuna climbed down. The Gormak's head was above water, but it was dead, drowned under the weight of stone. She had not needed to get close, had not risked its acid blood. She had simply used its own aggression and size against it. Used the environment, used her endurance. She climbed onto its skull, took one of its armor plates as a trophy. Then she looked up at the observation deck high above and raised the plate over her head. "Who's next?" she shouted. In the observation deck, chaos erupted. Aliens who had bet against her lost fortunes. Others recorded everything, streaming it to the wider galaxy. A human, a single human, had killed a Gormak through pure strategy and endurance. Vexthal pulled up more files on humans. His mandibles clicked faster as he read. Persistence predators, marathon runners, tool users, social hunters. Earth gravity was higher than most worlds, making humans stronger. Earth's atmosphere had more oxygen, giving them more endurance. Earth was a death world that had bred the ultimate survivors. "She is alone," he said to his officers. "One human. We have dozens of other creatures in reserve. Release them. All of them. Tomorrow at dawn, flood the arena. She cannot survive that." But even as he gave the order, doubt crept into his mind. The human had not just survived. She had thrived. Had adapted, had turned his death trap into her hunting ground. What had they done? That night, Yuna and Do-hyun carved a mark into the cave wall. One large mark. For the Gormak. Do-hyun looked at her with something like awe. "You killed the unkillable thing," he said. "Nothing is unkillable," Yuna replied. "Everything has a weakness. You just have to find it, and be patient, and never give up. That's what being human means. We don't quit, ever." She looked at her hands, covered in calluses and cuts. Hands that had killed, hands that would kill again, but also hands that could build, create, heal, save. "Tomorrow will be harder," she said. "I can feel it. They're going to throw everything at us, but we're going to survive, and then we're getting out of here. All of us, every human in this prison. I promise you that." Do-hyun wanted to believe her, and for the first time in 3 months he did. Above them, in the cold white corridors of the prison, Yejin finished treating a guard's injury. When he left, she slipped a small device from her pocket, a communicator she had stolen weeks ago. She had been too afraid to use it. But now, watching the footage from the arena, watching Yuna fight like a demon, she felt brave. She sent a message into the void, toward human space, toward help. This is Hyejin, colonial medic, captured by the Kralthex Syndicate. We are prisoners. We need rescue. Coordinates attached, please. We're not all dead yet. There's still time. She did not know if anyone would hear it, but she had to try. Because if Yuna could face monsters, Hyejin could face her fear. The message traveled through space at the speed of light. Toward home. Toward hope. Dawn came with the sound of doors opening. Not one door, dozens all around the arena, from every direction. And from those doors came death. 47 creatures poured into the arena. Beasts from 30 different worlds. Everything the Kralthex Syndicate had collected. Everything they had kept in reserve. All released at once. Dohyun saw them coming and his blood went cold. We have to hide. There's too many. Way too many. Yuna stood at the entrance to their cave and smiled. Not a happy smile. A predator's smile. All teeth and promise. No, this is perfect. Perfect? Are you insane? They made a mistake, Dohyun. They gave us a target-rich environment. On Earth, humans hunted mammoths. Giant elephants twice the size of that Gormak. We hunted them to extinction. Know how? We worked together. We used strategy. We used the environment. Watch and learn. She had spent the last day preparing. The cave was no longer just a shelter. It was a fortress. The entrance was narrow, reinforced with rocks and bones. In front of it, she had dug a trench and filled it with dried plants and wood. Around the trench, sharpened stakes angled outward. Simple defenses. Ancient defenses. But effective. Light the fire, she told Dohyun. He took the torch they had prepared and touched it to the trench. Flames roared to life. A wall of fire between them and the approaching horde. Most of the creatures stopped. Fire was wrong, dangerous, unnatural. They circled it, confused, but some were desperate. Or stupid, or both. They tried to jump the flames. 3 creatures made it across. A thing like a wolf made of shadows. A reptile with poison spines. Something that was all teeth and hunger. Yuna was ready. She had rocks. Dozens of them, smooth, heavy, perfect for throwing. The first creature took a rock to the skull. It dropped instantly. The second dodged but ran onto the stakes. The third got close enough for Yuna to use her spear. A piece of bone lashed to a long stick. Simple. Deadly. More came. The fire began to die. But Yuna had prepared for that too. She threw burning branches over the trench. They landed in the dried grass beyond. New fires started. The wind carried smoke and flame. Panic spread through the creatures. They were trapped between fire zones. Divide and conquer, Yuna said. Humans learned this 10,000 years ago. You can't fight everything at once, so you split them up. Make them fight on your terms. Use choke points, narrow spaces where numbers don't matter. A massive creature, something like a bear with 3 heads, smashed through the flames. Its fur was burning, but it did not care. Pure rage drove it forward. Yuna met it at the cave entrance. The narrow space meant only one head could fit through at a time. She jabbed with her spear, once, twice, 3 times, each strike precise. Each strike aimed at eyes and throat and soft places where armor did not protect. The creature fell. Blocked the entrance with its body. Now nothing else could get through easily. They would have to climb over it. That meant exposing themselves, making themselves vulnerable. Hours passed. The sun lamps moved across the artificial sky. The creatures kept coming, but they were dying faster than they could attack. Yuna fought with the calm of someone who had trained for this their entire life. No wasted movement, no panic. Just efficient violence. Dohyun watched in awe. He grabbed a spear and stood beside her. When something got through, he jabbed at it. His hands shook, but he did not run. Could not run. Not when Yuna was fighting beside him like this. In the observation deck, the aliens could not believe what they were seeing. One human won, and she was winning, turning their arena into a killing field, using fire and tactics that were older than their civilizations. A technician pulled up human history files. What he saw made his blood run cold. Commander Vexthal, you need to see this. Humans, they hunted everything on their planet, everything. They killed creatures 10 times their size. They survived an ice age. They survived plagues. They survived predators and disasters and each other. They are not prey. They never were. They are apex predators who learned to work together, and we put one in an arena and gave her a reason to be angry. Vexthal stared at the screens, at the human standing in smoke and fire and blood, still fighting, still alive, still defiant. He had made a terrible mistake. He saw that now, but pride would not let him stop. Release the void worm. If fire and numbers will not work, we use something that cannot be blocked. Deep below the arena, handlers opened the last containment unit. The void worm slid out, 30 feet of nightmare. Its body was like smoke given form, solid one moment, transparent the next. It could pass through matter as easily as air. No wall could stop it. No weapon could touch it when it phased. Yuna felt it before she saw it. A coldness in the air. A wrongness. The remaining creatures scattered. Even they knew to fear the worm. Do-yun, get back. Deep into the cave now. What is it? The thing you told me about. The one that can phase through walls. It's here. The void worm materialized in front of the cave. Its eyes were like stars. Cold, ancient, hungry. It looked at Yuna and she looked back. Two predators. One meeting, it lunged. Yuna dove to the side. The worm passed through the rock where she had been standing. Passed through it like it was not there. It circled back. She threw a rock. The rock passed through its body when it was phased. Useless, can't touch it when it's phased, Yuna muttered. But it has to become solid to attack. Has to become real to hurt me. So I wait, watch, learn its pattern. The worm struck again. This time Yuna saw it. The split second before it attacked, it solidified. Had to. Otherwise, its teeth and claws would pass through her without doing damage. She waited for the next attack. Watched. Counted. The worm lunged. She saw the shimmer as it became solid. Her spear was already moving. It caught the worm in its open mouth, drove deep into its throat. The creature thrashed, tried to phase, but the spear was in it. Part of it now. It could not phase without tearing itself apart. Black blood sprayed. The worm writhed, screamed, died. Yuna pulled her spear free. Everything has a weakness, she said. You just have to find it. The observation deck was silent. Every alien watching had the same thought. What have we done? But before anyone could speak, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A computerized voice spoke in the Kralthex language. Warning. Unauthorized transmission detected. Source Medical Bay. Vexthal's eyes widened. Find that transmission. Trace it. But it was too late. Hijin's message had already been sent. Already received. The human space fleet was 3 days away and moving fast. In another part of the prison, Taeyang worked in the engine room. He was supposed to be fixing a coolant leak. Instead, he was sabotaging, slowly, carefully, creating problems that would not be noticed until it was too late. He had no weapons, no way to fight, but he could make the ship vulnerable, could prepare for rescue. Other humans throughout the prison heard whispers, saw footage from the arena, Yuna fighting, surviving, winning. Hope spread like fire. In the arena, Yuna collapsed against the cave wall. Her body screamed with pain, burns from the fire, cuts from claws and teeth, bruises from impacts. But she was alive. Around her lay the bodies of 47 apex predators. Do-hyun brought her water. You did it. You actually did it. They threw everything at you and you survived. We survived, Yuna corrected. And now we move to the next phase. We've shown them we can't be killed easily. Now we show them we can escape. Can you climb? Climb? Climb where? Yuna pointed up. At the dome ceiling far above. At the observation deck. There. The guards will come to clean the arena. Reset it. When they do, we'll be ready. We take a guard. Take his weapons. Then we fight our way to the other humans. We get everyone together, and we hold until help arrives. Help? What help? Faith, Do-hyun. Have faith. Humans don't abandon each other. If there are humans here, more humans will come. It's what we do. We're a pack species. We work together. We never leave anyone behind. Above, Vexthal made his decision. The human had proven too dangerous. Vent the atmosphere from the arena. Kill her with vacuum. No more games. No more entertainment. She dies. Now. But as he reached for the controls, an explosion rocked the ship. Then another. Taeyang's sabotage was working. Systems began failing. Power flickered. The prison descended into chaos, and somewhere in the darkness Yuna smiled. The game was changing, and humans were very good at games. The ship was dying. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. Smoke filled the corridors. Taeyang's careful sabotage had worked better than he expected. Every system he had quietly damaged over the past months failed at once. Life support, gravity, power distribution, all crashing together like dominoes. In the arena, the dome ceiling cracked. Emergency doors began opening. The Kralthex guards rushed in to secure the facility. They did not see Yuna and Dohyun hiding in the smoke until it was too late. Yuna took the first guard from behind, her arm wrapped around his throat. Humans had incredible grip strength, evolved from ancestors who climbed trees and held on for dear life. The guard struggled for 15 seconds, then went limp. She took his weapon, a rifle-like thing that hummed with energy, his access card, his communication device. More coming, Dohyun warned. Good. We need a clear path anyway. Yuna checked the weapon, found the trigger, pointed it at the door where more guards were entering. She fired. The weapon kicked, but not as much as human weapons. These aliens did not have human shoulder strength, could not handle real recoil. 3 guards fell. The others scattered for cover. Yuna advanced, not charging blindly, moving with purpose, using cover, firing when she had a clear shot. The guards had weapons, but they were security, not soldiers, not warriors. They had never fought something that fought back so effectively. The corridor beyond the arena was chaos. Prisoners were escaping. Aliens and humans both. In the confusion, no one knew who was friend or enemy. Yuna grabbed an alien prisoner, a small reptilian thing. Where are the other humans kept? The alien pointed with a trembling claw. D block. That way. But it is sealed. Locked down. It won't be for long. Yuna moved deeper into the ship. Dohyun followed. They found 2 more humans in the corridors, Siwoo and Minho, both young, both scared, both armed with stolen weapons now. Captain Yuna? Siwoo asked. We saw the footage. Everyone saw it. You killed everything they threw at you. Save the praise for later. Right now we find the others. We get to D block. We hold until help arrives. Help? What help? The human space fleet. They're coming. I know it. They fought through the ship. Each corridor was a battle, each door a challenge. But humans had advantages. They could aim while moving, could fight while injured, could coordinate without speaking through pure body language and understanding. Pack tactics evolved over millions of years. They reached D block. 10 humans were locked inside. Hyejin was there. She had bruises on her face. A guard had beaten her when they discovered her message, but she was alive, and smiling when she saw Yuna. I knew you would come, Hyejin said. I told you, humans don't abandon each other. Yuna shot the lock. The door opened. Everyone arm yourselves. We hold this position. This corridor is defensible, only one way in. We stack the odds in our favor. They worked fast. Barricades from furniture and equipment, weapons from fallen guards, medical supplies that Hyejin knew how to use. And then they waited. 12 humans. Against a ship of hundreds. But they were not just any humans. They were humans with a purpose. Humans with hope. And that made them dangerous. Bexthal rallied his forces. They are 12 prisoners, 12. We are an army. We end this now. Storm their position. Kill them all. 50 guards advanced on D block. They expected an easy fight, found hell instead. The humans had set traps. Simple things. Tripwires, unstable barricades designed to fall on attackers, weapons rigged to fire when touched. Human ingenuity turned against their captors. The first wave broke against the barricades. The second wave hesitated. The third wave refused to advance. Fear had taken root. These were not helpless prisoners. These were soldiers, warriors, predators. Taeyang arrived through a maintenance shaft. He had been sabotaging the ship for hours. Now he brought something special. I have access to the communication array. I boosted Hyejin's message, made it louder. The human fleet received it. They are 2 hours away. We just need to hold. 2 hours. It seemed like forever. But they would make it. They had to. Vexithal watched from his command center. His beautiful ship was falling apart. His guards were terrified. His prisoners were escaping. And it was all because of one human, one female human who refused to die. He made a decision. If he could not win, he would take them all with him. He entered a code, started a self-destruct sequence. 15 minutes. The ship would explode. Everyone would die. But he did not account for Taiyang. The engineer saw the countdown start, saw what Vexthal was doing. He's self-destructing the ship. We have 15 minutes. Can you stop it? Yuna asked. No, but I can slow it down. Give us maybe 30 minutes, but someone needs to get to the command center. Override the sequence physically. Where is it? 6 levels up. Through heavy guard positions. It's a suicide run. Yuna checked her weapon. Then I go alone. The rest of you get to the escape pods. Get ready to evacuate. No. Dohyun stepped forward. We go together. You taught me that. Humans work together. We don't leave anyone behind. I'm going too, Hyejin said. Others nodded. They all went. The final push through the ship was brutal. Guards tried to stop them, failed. The humans moved like a unit, like a machine built for war. They covered each other, supported each other. When one fell back to reload, another stepped forward. Perfect coordination. They reached the command center. Vexithal waited inside. He wore combat armor now. Heavy, armed. He was not going down without a fight. You should have died in the arena, he screamed. You are prey. Prey. How are you still alive? We're human, Yuna said. We don't know how to quit. The fight was short, brutal. Vexthal was strong, fast, but Yuna had fought for days, had killed creatures far worse, and she was not alone. 12 humans against 1 alien. It was never a fair fight. When it was over, Taeyang stopped the self-destruct with seconds to spare. The ship shuddered, alarm still blared, but they were alive. Outside, Siwoo shouted. Look! Through the viewport, ships appeared. Human ships, dozens of them, warships, carriers, rescue vessels. The entire Third Fleet had come. Admiral Park's voice came over the communication system. This is the human space fleet. Kralthek's vessel, you are surrounded. Release all prisoners immediately or we will take them by force. Yuna grabbed the communication device. Admiral Park, this is Captain Yuna. All human prisoners are secure. We have control of D Block in the command center. The alien crew is scattered. The ship is heavily damaged. Captain Yuna? The Admiral's voice was shocked. You were listed as KIA, dead. How? Long story, sir. I'll tell you over drinks. Right. Now we need medical support and transport for 13 humans. And sir? You're going to want to see the arena footage. It's going to change how the galaxy sees us. The rescue took 3 hours. Marines boarded the ship, secured it, arrested the remaining Kralthek's crew. Vexthal was taken into custody. He would face trial for his crimes. The human prisoners were brought aboard the flagship. Medical teams checked them over. They were malnourished, injured, traumatized, but alive, and together. Admiral Park found Yuna in the medical bay. She was getting stitches for the 100 cuts and wounds she had collected. Captain, I saw the footage, all of it. What you did in that arena. It's spreading across the galaxy like fire. Every species is seeing it, seeing what humans can do when pushed to the edge. That was the point, sir. They thought we were weak, soft, easy prey. They needed to learn we're not. You did more than that. The Galactic Council has been watching. They want to offer us a seat, full membership, because of what you showed them, that humans are not to be underestimated. Yuna looked at the other survivors. Dohyun was laughing with Minho. Hyejin was crying happy tears. Taeyang was already talking about what he wanted to eat first. Real food, Earth food. They had survived. Together. We're pack animals, Admiral. We're at our best when we work together. That arena tried to make me fight alone, but I was never alone. Every human who ever lived was with me. Every ancestor who survived impossible odds. Every human who refused to give up. They were all there, and that is why we won. 6 months later, the Gauntlet Arena was preserved as a monument, not to death, to survival, to human stubbornness, to the refusal to be prey. Visitors from across the galaxy came to see it, to see the tally marks on the cave wall, to see where one human changed everything. The Kralthek Syndicate collapsed. No species would do business with them after what they had done. The prison ship was dismantled, the prisoners freed, and in human space, a new law was passed. Any species that imprisoned humans would face the full might of the human fleet. No negotiation, no mercy, because humans had learned something important. They were not prey. They were the galaxy's newest apex predators, and they would never forget it. Una stood in front of the Galactic Council, 13 species, all powerful, all ancient, all watching her carefully. They offered her a medal, honors, awards. She accepted them with grace. But what mattered most was the message, the one that spread to every corner of the galaxy, the one that would be remembered forever. 3 simple words that changed everything. Never cage humans. And the galaxy listened.